Hey everybody, it's Aaron here with Get Your Geek On, and welcome to our review of Heroes Hour. It was a game that I was looking forward to coming out this month in March, and I was able to get it and play it, and I'm excited to share it with you guys. So a little bit about the game. It's developed by Thing on its own, aka Benjamin Hauer. I do apologize if I mispronounced it. He is the developer of Heroes Hour, which he says is a spiritual successor to the Heroes strategy game. Heroes was a fun game. If you never played it, go check it out. It's Heroes of the Might and Magic, I believe it was fully called. Fun little game. I played the crud out of it when I was younger. The publisher is Goblin Studio, so if you want to go check them out, I'm sure it'll be up there. This game is specifically on Steam only right now, so you will have to go there to buy it, but so far a fun little game. So kind of to give you some of the details about the game, you're going to be able to, it's a turn-based strategy game where you get to pick your heroes, you pick a faction, and you run around collecting resources and just conquer the land and destroy your enemy, basically. There's a few features to this game. There's 11 factions with special mechanics, and they all do something different. They have different characters and abilities. There's 22 hero classes with special skills in each. So each hero, and I noticed when I'm playing just the tutorial, each hero does act differently. They have different abilities and can do different things. 46 common heroes, 276 units. They have 177 units in total, and 100 of those are upgradable roughly. So it gets you about that 276 different units. You have 100 unique unit abilities, meaning they all can do something a little bit different. 145 artifacts, over 80 spells and abilities. You have local hot seat multiplayer. For those who are too young to know what that is, that basically is where a bunch of your friends can sit at the computer with you and you can all play against each other or help each other out. And because it is a turn-based one, when you end your turn, it'll move on to your next player and they can do their turn, etc., etc. It does have also co-op with players or even online as well. So there's a lot of little things in this game that make me so happy to be playing it. It's so much fun. And again, he says it himself. It is a spiritual successor to the Heroes franchise. And it really, really is. So if you played Heroes of the Might and Magic back in the day, I think I got into that series on 3 or 2. I can't remember. And this game feels like that. It feels like a part 4. I think there actually is one. But it is a really fun little game. So the way it works is you will have a castle, or you may have to take over a castle, and your castle produces money and creatures for you to buy. So you buy your creatures, you can buy them once a week because it gives you so many each week, and then you go around with your hero once you have your hero recruited, and he's able to go around the land and collect items, artifacts, resources, money, etc. So each resource, there's a little mine for it you can find around normally close to your area. You can go find those and take them over, and then your castle will start gathering those as a per day kind of thing. So there's money, ore, wood, sulfur, and I can't remember the last one. There's one more, but you basically want to get all those mines so you can collect them one a day, because when you get your castle, some of the building upgrades do require that you have certain things such as sulfur or maybe ore to create the building. So you want to make sure you get all those resources. And of course, things cost money, so you're definitely going to need a lot of money in this game. The more you upgrade your castle, the more you have to choose from. Most of the castles pretty much have the same thing, except they'll have their own unique variants to it. Pretty much they all have a mage's tower type thing and a tavern. The tavern lets you recruit heroes to go scout the land, where your mage tower kind of lets you learn your spells, so that way your hero can use them on the battlefield. The other thing I have noticed that I thought was really cool is you're able to have a legend, I guess you could say, and you're able to double click on that and able to upgrade and purchase everything through it. So you don't have to go click on each little building to be like, oh my gosh, what building does what? It's on the nice little roadmap for you that you'll be able to see and play. Now, I was playing the tutorial, so if you are watching this video, you are able to see like how each unit's worked, how they had some different abilities, what they look like. It is an overhead view, so if you did play any of the any kind of game like Mario or Zelda, it's going to have that same view. It is of like a 32-bit, I would say, for the graphics, maybe a little bit more, but it's an old school looking game like that, and I like that actually, because it just brings me back to those days where I was playing Mario, Zelda, all that stuff, and it's really, really fun. Now, I would say this too, the one thing that it has different than Heroes of the Might and Magic is Heroes only had like one character to represent everybody in your army. So if you had like 100 imps, you're only going to see one with 100 above it. This one, the who will all be on the battlefield at once. So if you have 100 imps, all 100 will show up, and they actually have a fight. Like you can see everything fighting back and forth, which I really did enjoy that. I thought it was a cool little aspect because it's like, oh, I can actually see them actually fighting versus they take one swing and like so many die or whatever, because that's how it was back in the day. So it's really cool to see that. Now, like I said, they each have different units. I believe each faction has, at least from what I was able to tell in the tutorials that I played, and I started to play some of the game itself, I believe they all have like 6 creatures you can choose from. And of course, again, some of them are upgradable, so you can pick between those 6, and each of them do something different. They all go in levels, so like your level 1 could be a goblin, and he's just gonna go in there close quarters and swing his little goblin axe. Your next creature may be a level 2, like maybe a goblin archer. It's just gonna shoot arrows at everything. And then 3 could be something else, 4, 5, and 6. Now your highest level is gonna usually be the strongest one. It's usually has the most damage and has the most health. So that's kind of like the creature you want to have a lot of, because he or she's going to go do all that damage for you and destroy whatever's on the other side. I really enjoyed that. The spells were really cool to see. I loved having those on hand and seeing how they worked. I think that was probably one of the more fun ones because, again, each hero is going to be different. I had one hero who wasn't so much magic based, so each spell cost mana, and he had very little mana. And I had another hero who was a lower level, but had almost triple the magic the other guy had. So it was one of those like, okay, I'm going to be able to use a lot more spells with this guy. And I did. I was able to use stuff that would hit more masses. So it would hit like a whole platoon of men kind of thing, and they'd all be dead. Versus, like just this one spell I can do maybe twice to heal my own guys. So I would do stuff like that. It's very much a strategy game. You got to figure out where you want to place people. So before the match even starts, you are able to kind of deploy your units where you want them to go. And that way they could actually maybe benefit from keeping your archers a little bit further back, letting your your up close fighters kind of go up close, and stuff like that. I did kind of use that, but be honest, it wasn't the best. I probably could have done that a lot better. But I was still just kind of playing around with it to see how it really worked, because I was curious if it really was going to show a lot of the, for lack of better terms, a lot of the way it would react. Did it really matter if I put somebody here or not? And it kind of did, actually. They would walk certain ways. They'd go up and down certain ways. So it did help, I think, to see that. The other thing is, too, there's artifacts in this game, like I said. So my first hero, he was decked out in artifacts. He had a little bit of everything, and I thought that was kind of fun. It gave him a little more power, a little more defense, and I think that's something that he needed. Now, again, if you're any kind of fan of the Heroes of Might and Magic's franchise, you will love this game, I feel, because this one kind of brings you back to it. It has different areas, different biomes, the different cultures, or fractions, have different abilities. They have different creatures. They all have a different play. The one I recorded, I believe I had picked the more of like the demon kind of guys, I believe. But there are other ones that are more like the good guys, I guess you could say, and other types of creatures out there. And then, of course, as you run around, you will run into other creatures that will either fight you or join you. Every now and then, they just run away. Now, the other thing I will say is, I think a cool little thing about it is you get to see how hard it is to fight each one. They went from easy, moderate, challenging, near impossible, and impossible, I remember seeing. So it kind of gives you an idea if it's worth fighting them. If your army is too small, you might not live. So sometimes it's better not to fight the big guys. There was a couple of times, though, where it was a impossible or near impossible, I believe, and I still won. And it was, again, I think just the way you deploy your men, how they deployed theirs, and the way my spells worked out. Like I said, my guy who had a lot of mana, he was able to do a lot more spells, like resurrection kind of spells, and more damage to multiple creatures. So I think overall this was a really fun game. I think you're able to see a lot of that right here on the screen right now of what I was able to do and how I played it. I will say drawbacks right now. During the tutorial, you'll see even here possibly that it did at times leave this message that it kept telling me like all the time, and I would close it, and I think that it needs to just tell you like once, maybe twice, and then stop telling it to you. I didn't like that it kept telling it to you. I will say for being on an easy level 2, and it's been a very long time, I will state, in playing any turn-based strategy games, it seemed like the enemy AI was a lot tougher than I remember it being, because it was beating me a couple of times. I mean, there was a lot of times I was able to hold it off or beat them. So it was interesting on that aspect, because it was very much like, you guys are a little bit harder and have a lot more men than I do. One of the other drawbacks I didn't like, and again, this is just me kind of picking at it. Whenever you have your guys lined up, you can control them to a small extent. You can't really tell them to go here, go there exactly. So I wish there was a little more control on that one to say like, oh, okay, you can do X, Y, and Z. But I mean, that's just a little pet peeve. Maybe I need to play it a little bit more and I'll be able to figure that out and say, oh, okay, this is how it goes. So that could just have been, again, bad strategy on my part, but that's something I would hope that they look at a little bit more. The other pet peeve I had on this one, again, there's nothing I would say that's bad about this game. It's just, again, all a pet peeve. Whenever you're trying to upgrade your soldiers, if you build the upgrade tower for them, start making the new units. If your guy has older units in it, you can't just like right click and upgrade. You actually, at least from what I could tell, you actually had to go into the castles, like the little, their house, I guess you could say, that builds them, and you had to go upgrade them from there. So that was a little bit of a pet peeve. But these small little things didn't really deter me from wanting to play. I really still enjoyed it. I did like that when you hover over your spell book, whenever you're going to cast a spell, it pauses the entire battle so you can kind of see what's going to happen. With each spell, you can hover over it and read it and say, okay, well, I want to do this or I want to do that. So those were helpful. That was something I thought that was a good move. And yeah, I think overall this game was really fun, was really enjoyable. I recommend it for you guys. On my scale of 1 to 10, I would give this one a nice solid 7.5. Again, those little minor details kind of keep it from a perfect score, as well as, again, it's a spiritual successor. I do wish it had better graphics, but again, if it's only made by this one guy, damn, you're good, man. Like, I will props to you for building this game on your own. But yeah, there's a few little minor tweaks I would like to maybe pick his brain on, like, why'd you do this? What made you go with that? And maybe I can come back and revisit this game one day and say, you know what, this is now a solid 10 game. The price of this one, that I believe I paid a little bit more, but it's $18. On Steam, again, remember, it is only $18. And I think I paid a little bit more because they had this like higher tier, which gives you like some other bundle stuff for it. So I think I paid like $20 for it or something like that. So definitely go check it out. I mean, and no matter what, under $20, little games like this, I don't mind funding. I don't mind helping them, because I think it's really cool that we get these indie developers the help they need to either add on to it or build more games, because this is a fun little one that I could just play on the side. Since it is turn-based, I can turn it off, or not turn it off, but just pause, walk away, go do something, come back, work on my film, work on script, whatever I need to do, and then come back and start playing again. So I recommend it, guys. Definitely go check it out. I'm going to try to see if we can do some more reviews like this of the games that we liked for March. So keep an eye out for those, or an ear, I should say. But on that note, I'm Aaron, and this was Get Your Geek On's review of Heroes Hour. Definitely check out all of our stuff on TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube, all at official GYGO. Yes, have a great one, guys, and stay geeky.